Welcome, dear friends, to another quiet corner of the world, a place where noise softens, breath slows, and the mind finally has space to rest. I am Ananda, and I'm grateful that you have chosen to be here, even if just for a few peaceful minutes. In a world where everything moves quickly, where every phone notification demands attention, where our thoughts rush like wild horses, this podcast is a reminder that stillness is not only possible, it is already within you.
And I am Sona, your companion on this simple journey through wisdom and story. Each week, Ananda and I sit beneath the same imaginary Bodhi tree to explore teachings that are thousands of years old, yet feel as fresh as this very breath. We don't speak as gurus or masters. We speak as friends, sharing a cup of tea, opening our hearts, and discovering the Buddha's insights in everyday life. Because the teachings are not distant. They are alive. They are practical. They are for all of us.
Today's conversation touches one of the deepest human struggles. Why do we suffer more when we resist reality? Why do small worries grow into storms? Why does a single hurtful word echo for days? Why does the mind cling so tightly, even when it hurts? A soft breath. And to explore this truth, we will share a quiet little story. A story about a river that never fought back, even when life tried to disturb it.
So wherever you are, driving on a long highway, sitting in your living room, working late at your desk, or resting after a long day, we invite you to settle in. Allow this moment to be your sanctuary. Let your shoulders loosen. Let your breath slow. And join us as we walk gently into today's teaching.
Long ago, in a quiet valley surrounded by mountains, lived a river known as Santara. People in nearby villages often said, "The river is wiser than all of us." Why? Because no matter what came its way, Santara never resisted, never complained, never fought.
During spring, melting snow rushed down the mountains, turning the river wild and loud. Yet Santara accepted the chaos. During summer, the sun stole much of its water, leaving only a thin stream. The river accepted that too. Children tossed pebbles into it. The river rippled and became calm again. Fallen branches floated across its surface. Birds dipped their wings. Storms disturbed it. Winds whispered above it. Yet Santara remained what it always was. A river that simply flowed.
One day, a young monk named Rishi visited this valley. He was troubled, carrying burdens that made his heart feel heavy. He had argued with his teacher. He felt misunderstood. He felt restless. He felt stuck. Rishi believed that life was unfair. Everything bothered him. Other monks' habits, their words, their opinions, their expectations. Every small thing felt like a stone thrown into his mind.
When Rishi reached the riverbank, he confessed his frustration aloud. "Why does the world always disturb my peace?" he asked. "Why can't things happen the way I want them to?" To his surprise, an old fisherman resting nearby heard him and smiled.
The fisherman pointed at Santara and said, "Young monk, watch the river." Rishi frowned, confused. "What will a river teach me?" The fisherman chuckled and replied, "The river never asks the stones not to fall. It never demands the winds to stop blowing. It never begs the rain to behave. Yet it always remains itself. It moves, adapts, and continues."
Rishi sat down and observed. For the first time, he truly saw the river. A branch dropped in, The river embraced it and carried it gently downstream. A gust of wind disturbed its surface. The ripples formed, then faded. Children splashed water. Yet the river remained calm. And in that moment, Rishi understood.
He whispered to himself, "Life disturbs me because I resist everything." The river had accepted reality, but he had been fighting it. Fighting people's words, fighting situations, fighting expectations, fighting the natural changes of life. And that resistance was the real suffering.
The fisherman stood up, gathered his nets, and said softly, "Peace does not come from controlling the world, but from flowing with it." Rishi bowed to the river, feeling lighter than he had in years, and walked back to the monastery, with a heart finally ready to flow.
Take a slow breath with us, and let the river settle in your mind. The story of Santara isn't just a tale. It is a mirror held up to our own lives. Most of our suffering does not come from events, but from the way we resist events.
Yes, Ananda. Notice how the river accepted both the storm and the sunshine. With the same calm presence. It did not celebrate one and reject the other. It did not cling to good moments or push away unpleasant ones. It simply flowed. And that, dear friends, is the essence of non-resistance.
In Buddhism, we often say, pain is inevitable. Suffering is optional. Life will throw challenges. A harsh word, a delay, a disappointment, the unexpected detour, the uninvited emotion. These are the stones life drops into our river. We cannot stop them, but we can choose not to fight them.
Think about your own life. How often does stress come from wanting things to be different than they are? Traffic is slow, you want it fast. Someone criticizes you, you want them silent. Plans change, you want control. Someone doesn't agree with you, you want them to understand. Every I want adds a layer of resistance. And resistance turns moments into suffering.
Rishi, the young monk in our story, suffered deeply, not because others tried to disturb him, but because he allowed every disturbance to become a battle inside his mind.
If we learn to flow like the river, we discover a freedom that cannot be taken away. A peace that stays even when life shakes us. A strength that comes not from control, but from acceptance.
Acceptance does not mean weakness. It does not mean allowing injustice. It does not mean giving up. It means, I will work with what is, instead of fighting against what already exists.
And in that flowing, we waste less energy. We see more clearly. We react with more kindness. And we suffer far less.
So today's teaching is simple, but powerful. When life drops a stone into your river, let the ripples come, let them fade, and continue flowing. Take one more deep breath with us. Inhale and exhale gently. As you leave this space today, remember the river. Remember how it welcomed everything. The storms, the sunlight, the falling branches. Without losing itself.
Life will continue to place stones in your path. But may you carry the wisdom of Santara with you. May you learn to flow, to adapt, to move with grace instead of resistance. And when the world feels heavy, pause for a moment and remind yourself, I can choose peace.
Thank you, dear friends, for sitting with us today in this circle of calm. Your presence, your breath, your awareness, they enrich this space deeply.
If you found peace in today's story or teaching, we gently invite you to return next week for another conversation under our shared Bodhi tree. there will be more stories, more reflections, and more pathways to inner stillness.
Until then, may your mind be steady, your heart be open, and your path be calm, like a river that simply flows.
We bow to you. Take care, dear friend, and may peace walk beside you every step of the way.